Alright, so it's time to transfer this model to Blender and create the UVs we are looking for. So have a better control than UV Master in ZBrush, which was great for quick stuff, but for some cases it's lacks of control. So now from ZBrush, the way it works is you have to use GoZ, that's the contacting plugin with multiple applications. So to adjust it, we have preferences, we have GoZ and section, and we have various softwares listed in here. So you can go between these, and this path is pretty important. So when you see the path to Blender, if you're just running the first time, it will automatically cycle you through this. I have multiple installations of Blender, so this is why I want to do it manually. And I'm hitting on this, and it takes a while until it looks worse. I will stop the video in just a second. I will come back. So this is the panel version of Blender was found, and this is the path, Blender 4, Blender Exe. So I'm okay with this, so I'll click on the name, and that's running fine. Now we also have to set up Blender. So I have Blender already open where you are, and here's the plugin. This one is already installed on my computer, but let me show how you do it. So you go to, first of all, you need in preferences and add-ons. This is where you will install, and you need to find the plugin, which one is at, if you type in Github, GoB, like Gob, and Blender, it will list a GitHub link, a Joe Gonzico. This is one, GoB. This is the actual link, and here we have a code. And from the code you can download the zip. Okay, so this zip is actually it's a GoB master zip. So if I want to install it, I can install desktop raw class and GoB master zip, and I can run the installation. So once I have that, I can type in here GoB and just enable, and then this little loader will be present. Okay, so that's perfectly fine for me. So now I'll set this up to import, and going back to ZBrush, and right now this is the active. If I'm pressing, there's the hotkey, that's Ctrl+G, Ctrl+G, and it will lower the resolution. And if we are lucky, we have this here. Now as you see, the size is matching because in ZBrush there's 2 meter by 2 meter cubicle that's used for sculpting, and we use the default Dynamesh 32 sphere, so everything is neat. So let me hit delete, and there we are. We can work with this one. Now of course it's time to save it, set it up as save, and just rock class, and I will set it to rock UV. Okay, and save the file. Now, okay, so what else do we need? So the first thing, there's another useful stuff. So let me just load a texture. Go to the browser and just type into simply Google and look for, and look for UVW checker tiles and pictures, and these are great references. Something that's fairly dense is useful. I have my own, but right now I will just use this polycount one. And can I download it? There's too many options, so I don't like when I have to click 1,000 times. So maybe save image. Where we are, lock class, PNG. Okay, let me see how it looks. Perfect, this is fine. Okay, so going to shading, and right now we have no material yet, so this is color attribute. As you see, when you are exporting from ZBrush and you have a low resolution or high resolution, doesn't matter, but it saves the vertex paint. So I will just delete it and Ctrl+T. That's Node Wrangler. If you don't have it enabled, you can just enable preferences and a node Wrangler. And when you have selected the material and you press Ctrl+T, it will set up a texture channel with all the stuff. So I can open this, whatever name it is, kind of thing. And as you see, there's no really anything in it because the texture information is just not there yet. So let me go to UV editing, and we are in edit mode. And if I'm selecting an area, it doesn't show up anything basically. So what I will do is I will just randomly select an area. I'm just testing the things. I'm pressing U and U again, and now it's U is when you press this is UV mapping, and if you press U again, it will unwrap your part. Yeah, you can use Smart UV. I like to use this manual and just double press U, and it will just automatically unwrap my stuff. Okay, let me just leave it as it is. Let me just turn this off because right now the color is just not really helpful for us. So this is a cluster that's automatically generated. So this whole thing is working. Now here's a little button which was extremely useful, this UV sync button. And that is showing your existing UVs, and it's going back and forth, so you can select this area and going here. In many applications this is the default, but here it's not turned on, so don't forget to turn it on. And if you don't know what to do, just select an area, make sure you are in face mode, and just hit UU, and now you are not lost. At least you will see something. Okay, the way we want to work is first just split it in half. So I will go to edge mode number 2, select an edge that's running, and I'm holding down Control and just running across. Okay, I'm just running on a path and selecting an area, and I will just start breaking this up. Okay, this was too much. I want to switch from here and try to keep the center line. Okay, so that's the goal. Try to keep the center line. Okay, where else? This is going in this direction. Okay, I see that there's this path, and I will cut forward. Cut it through. So naturally, I'm just following the center line. I want to split this in half. Okay, so that's my goal. I want to split this in half. Where's the other end? Here's the other end. Maybe I can leave it now as is, right click and mark seam, and now number 3 and press A, select everything, U, unwrap, and look at here. So now it's one, this area is actually wrapped pretty nice. So I'm happy with this one. This is a mess. If I'm highlighting this messy area, this is it. I have to unfold it further. Okay, I definitely need to unfold it further, but this is a good start. Okay, now if we apply the texture, where we are shading, and now the texture looks, it's telling you something. Okay, so here this is looking fairly neat. This is stretched out, so the bottom part that definitely should be addressed, but it's as a first glimpse, it's not bad. Okay, let me go back to UV editing, and the tactics is usually I like to select an area, okay, because this one looks good. So I want to cut this through like this here, and I'm highlighting the polygons here, and I see that okay, I can find my way through this. So what I will do, I will just start from here, going through and going up and land here. So that's the goal. I'll know. Going here and choosing this path because it's deeper. Okay, it's deeper. I think it's more beneficial if I split here. So that's right. Okay, so I'm getting this edge mode, and just walking through. Excuse me, control and going down this area. Okay, maybe I will split here and select this one and control and running through. Okay, looks nice. Where should we go? Oh, it's deep in here. Maybe just hiding this away and selecting this one and this one and this, and now going further. Okay, so split this. Try to go into grooves and holding Control. And of course, if you want to start a new branch, you are holding Shift and then you just create the direction. And then Control is allowing you to go further. And I will cut join in here. So going through and select and select and select and just go in here. Neat. Okay, mark seam. Let me zoom out, deselect, and I do the same thing. Pressing A. We are in polygon mode. Pressing A again, and U, and there we go. Now we have two clusters. I don't worry if one cluster is moving. We are not there yet. Right now we are just breaking things up and testing for shading. Okay, how the shading is looking. Is it better? So this area is certainly good. Many of the areas are pretty nice. This one is not okay. So let me go back to UV editing, and I can actually press ZZ material preview and see where my stretches are. So I have this big stretch in here, and these are the polygons. These are stretching too much. These are stretching too much. Why? This is a big chunk. So I want to cut this off. Okay. Okay, let me just turn this off because it's just disturbing in the bottom. Yep. So there we are, and Z, I'm going to this way. Okay, I want to cut through here. So cut number 2, and holding Control, and cut. Actually going this direction, and this is an underturn. This is why it's hard to open this up. This is why it struggles a little bit. Okay, going through and mark seam, and again 3 select all and wrap, and see how it goes. Now we have a smaller cluster. This area is looking pretty nice. So let me go into material preview and see this cluster. If I'm hovering over and pressing L, it will select that area. And I see it's fairly even. So if I wish, I can go down deeper and cut this up further. You can actually go as deep as possible with the whole cuts. And cut multiple pieces. The more smaller clusters you make like this, the more precise the texture will be. Okay, so there will be less stretch, but of course you will end up having more seams. But because the seams are not that much visible, it won't be that much of an issue. So this cluster, this part, is still stretched a lot at the bottom, so we definitely have to cut through here. Okay, so cut this up further. Let me go back to solo mode and edge, and selecting this edge and running through. Run where to cut. Oh, maybe here, going down. Good, and walk away from the scene. There we are. My bad, wrong angle. And here, that's better. Step. Okay, let me just. Okay, if I have any bad edge selection, no. Alt Z is to see through. Right click and mark seam. That looks nice. I can also cut through here. Yep, I will do that. So holding the Control and there, Control and there. mark seam, correct. This is also deep, so here running. The more cuts you have, usually the more precise results you will end up. And I will switch from this point. No, not in here. Okay, mark seam, 3A, and now we have a cleaner cluster set. Okay, looking great. Here the stretch, I don't know what it does, so let me see it in the with the material. It doesn't stretch us too much, but it's definitely better. So as you see the differences between here and there, the sizes of the texture is looking much more even. Good here. This one seems to be a little bit stretched, but it's, again, it's not that crazy. Good. Okay. Yeah. Now here's the deal. You can move further and further. Right now there is a loss. There's a quite significant loss around. So if you want to make it efficient and you want to use as small texture size as possible to increase render speed, reduce load on your graphics card or whatever, you can cut it further. So now, just because of the demonstration, it was only about 17 minutes, it's not that crazy. I will go and cut it further and give it a go, and cut through. And yep, so splitting some areas and that mark seam. So I'm now just looking for larger areas, and I'm trying to cut them through. So there we go, and mark seam, and here just mark seam, create a smaller cluster. Yep, that's it. Here's one that's split up. This is also big. I don't think it's beneficial to have that big of a chunk. So holding Control and nope. Okay, so is it running now? Yep. Good. That would be much better. Here, this is also a big one. This is also a big one. Where can we cut? We can cut through here. So select, Control, cut, and hide it away. Even here, and cut through. Nope. Shift and Control and select. And now, I think it's better now. And end up here, mark seam. Okay. There we are, and this is also a big cluster. So I'll cut through this big cluster. And as you see, I'm creating smaller and smaller chunks. Now, if you have more time, the more time you spend with it, the result will be much better. And because you can use it 1,000 times, so a single rock can be populated and you can create maybe 20, 50 of these. Yeah, that's a good idea to have it as good as possible. And as you see, the efficiency of the texture, the occupied surface will be a lot less. Wasting space, so it won't waste as much space. Okay. good. So if you wish, you can make it more precise. Right now, I'll just do it as is. And 3, A, and U. And now we have a lot more smaller clusters. Okay, so that's you can have more room to organize it, rotate things around, and just use the space a little bit better. And that's fine. Now let me try out something. So let me hit A to select all, and we have a UV menu, and we have pack islands. And this pack islands is, we have this margin, and scale, this margin is fairly small, but let me give it a try to pack it. And as you see, it's neatly packing things up, and the things are really close. It's not crazy close, but it's really close. And this packing, this is an automatic packing, but it's not bad. And yeah, so I don't like this type of things. It's a little bit cheesy. So what you have to do is, let me tweak the settings and pack islands, and choose this and use it as 0.5, and hit OK. And now we have a little bit more space around things, which one I do like a little bit better. So it's more than just 2 pixels. And because the edge, the outer edge, is not respected as it should be, I will just simply scale this up slightly, and just G and move it a little bit up. Okay, so let me see. Okay, we have a safe distance. We have a safe distance. Actually, I can move it a little bit to the side. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm happy with this. You cannot really make something like this in UV Master. You can create rough versions, but this is much more again efficient. So say Z material preview. We don't have too much stretches, so it looks great, honestly. Okay, fine. Let me go back to layout mode and save this file as is. And if I'm hitting export, it's time to see our model. So here's our model. Okay, and if we are made everything right, this is new rock. We should go to UV map and morph UV, and we have the UV there, and morph UV. And we had subdivisions, so if I'm pressing D, it subdivides, D subdivides further, subdivides, and we have all the subdivision levels, which one is awesome. So now this model has the UV maps, it has the painting, and what's the resolution? Yeah, this is 3.2 million. Okay, so perfect. Now what else? Of course we want to create the maps for our model. So what's the size? UV map size, I will shoot with 4K, and it's not a necessity, honestly. So just for speed, I will stick to 2K. And texture map, and create, and new from polypaint. So there we are. This is our polypaint texture. I can clone it and use my export button here, but again, it's texture and export. Now I'm not using the flip, because when you are using this texture, for example in Blender or through GoZ, GoZ flips it for you, so you don't have to do that. Or if you have to do it anyways, you see the texture is not lining up, you just flip it vertically in any program. You can do it in Photoshop or whatever. So let me hit export and choose new rock and diffuse. So that's not a JPEG, it's maybe a TIFF. Okay, so that's great. And we are creating a displacement map. So Shift D, walking down, and create displacement map, and clone displacement map. And again, it's alpha. It's loading in alpha. We have the export here, but I have my own. This is the belonging alpha. So this is TIFF, and so now we have this texture, which one is great, and we have the normal map. This is tangents, smooth UVs, normals, nothing special. Create normal map and clone normal map and export it out, and that will be new rock normal. Okay, so fine. Now what else do we want? This is, as you see now, something is coming to play. You can see how this is a low resolution mesh, but because we have the textures already, it uses the high resolution texture, it uses displacement. As you see, it brings back the surface details on a level. It's not perfect, it's ZBrush. It's ZBrush with low poly, it's working differently, it's dealing with this differently, but it's there. And what else we can do? So if you have a rock like this, and you have 50 of these, and you have them at the highest resolution, you will not get too far. So what I will do is I will duplicate this, Ctrl+Shift+T, and let me turn these off and rename this to not new rock, it will be decimated rock. And I will use D going up high, Shift F. So this is 3 million. It's quite dense, as you see, it's really dense. Okay, so we have a lot of details. It's in full quality. And time to decimate this thing. And the reason we are decimating it, because right now it's 3 million, and our base model is this. This is good, but it lacks of details. And when you are exporting to your software, Maya, Blender, whatever, and yes, you can get back the details through displacement. Yes, of course, but that's cost you time and money. So, and if you have an AR application or you want to use it in Unity or Unreal, then you don't have that luxury to always subdivide things. And so you want to use a solid mesh that's not changing up. But with decimation, through decimation, you can create level of detail LOD models. So I will just turn on keep UVs, pre-process current. Oh, excuse me. I have to go back to the higher resolution. Yep, and pre-process current now. So it will be a lot more slower. And I will be back. Just let me stop the video for a second. Okay, so pre-process is done, and let me go with 20% is decimated part. Let me go with 5%. No, actually 0.5. Let me check that. Decimate current. And I don't know if you have seen it, but this is now 16,000, but it's not changed too much. I will go to 0.01. I'm sorry, 0.1. And hit decimate current, and now it's really low in resolution. Shift F, if I'm turning this is really low. This is 3,000 polygons, but this looks fairly convincing as a rock. Okay, especially in the distance. So you can create different resolution rocks for yourself. Let me just use the y-axis. So this way, if you have decimation and this keep UV is loaded, you can create low resolution meshes and export them. So I will just press Ctrl+G and send it over to Blender. So let me hear this and G and move it aside. So here we have the decimated rock and move it aside. So this is decimated. This is the standard rock. I'll go shade smooth. Here I go shade smooth. You can see it has more details. This one is, what's the size? Where are your statistics? So statistic, this is 3,000, and this is also 3,000, but with a lot more character. Okay. This one could be used to subdivide it. This one could be used just for the textures. So here's the deal. If we want to set this up, we should go to shading and add a texture. So let me go in here, and this is new rock material, and the new rock material should be using the, where are your new rock diffuse? Okay, so this is how it looks, new rock diffuse. We have a Shift A and a normal map. And there we go. And the normal map is using a texture. So Shift A and texture, image texture. There we go. This is going to color information. This is going to be the normal map. And the vector info is coming from here. That's the vector info, it's coming from here, and we are connecting this normal. So now the normal is there, strength is 1, and this sRGB is non-color. So there we are, it's non-color. We can change that if we need intensity, we can play with those. Alright, so that's basically it, and of course on top of it, so once you have this enabled, we can press Ctrl+2, subdivide it 2 times. Even in renderer, we can increase it to about 4, and we can use the displace modifier. So add modifier, the form, where are your displace? There are your displace. And yep, it's silly. So we have to new texture, we have to load it, adjust, oops, excuse me, open, displacement, good. Now going back to the material, ups the modifier, and we are using the local coordinates instead of UV coordinates. And direction is normal, and the strength is a lot less. Okay, so strength is a lot less. 0.1 is the strength, and that's fair enough. If you wish, you can go higher, 0.05, 0.2. That's already a little bit cranky. So 0.1 seems to be nice. Okay, so that is about the displacement and the things. Now you can get a very similar stuff if we have a model like this, and this is the decimated rock, but we can just go in here and new rock material, and this is the new rock material, and just increase the strength of it, and you have this. So it's not the same, of course, it's not the same, but this is fairly low in resolution, and this takes a lot more render time. So let me go to layout and Z and go to material preview. So this is the decimated rock, and this is the other part. And let me go to the light and select the light. And what type of light is this? Maybe we can go with the sun, and or nah, spot. Yeah, great. RNG and look it from the front. NG and R. Okay, and just going to zoom. I have lock camera viewport here. If you don't have lock camera viewport, you can go to view and camera viewport. So we can rotate it around, zooming in. And we have Eevee by default, and this is not really working fine with Eevee. And just function G12 and see what it does. So it renders pretty nice. Okay, so that's how it goes. Here, maybe it's too much, or it's too sharp with that setting, but it looks fine. Okay, now that's it basically. I still have to adjust the lights and everything, but I'm not spending too much time on this. This is a principle. So if I'm hitting escape, let me go back to ZBrush. So we can have actually this model, and using V and reorient this stuff and turn this back on as well, and just moving it aside and make sure it's not solo mode. So this is the decimated, this is the other one. You can always decimate furthermore, so you can create another version that's 5% or other thing, and you don't have to calculate with multiple things around. And once you have that, you can just Ctrl+Shift+D and duplicate it around and just rotate 90 degrees and just we get here, and you can build a wall with this. And just moving around, you can scale it up, in the biggest size, because it's, again, it's a good average size. So you can play with that area as well. And just look for, if you want to create a path, someone is walking up on the rocks here and there, this is how you can do it. And of course you can cut off the rest if you don't need to show it up. Alright, thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed, and see you next time. Goodbye.